Gimme.
Welcome back to another episode of the We Love Gaming Podcast, episode 30. And today is a lovely day in Southern California, IA. It's nice, bright, and sunny. It's a little chilly, but, you know, we still got some good light out here, some good vibes going on.
Yeah.
And we kind of figured that since, you know, 2020 has kind of been a bit of a shitstorm, we were going to talk about all of the great games that we as the We Love Gaming crew feel are like the top 10
of the year.
Yeah, so we're going to give you guys, we're going to break this out into like a 2-part session. So we're going to give you 10 through 6, and then we're going to follow up with 5 through 1. And so before we get started with everything, right, what have you guys been playing? What have you guys been into?
What you been doing, Mark?
So I still been going down the fighting game.
Okay.
I'm on a kind of fighting game kick.
Okay.
So,
Nice. Long kick.
so I just got Mortal Kombat 11.
Ooh.
So I haven't put too much time into
That one
it.
fighting game of the year, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Wow, okay.
And for a fighting game, it has an incredible story.
Really?
It has so many extra features that are not like the 1v1 fighting. I would say, you know, I didn't pay full retail, but it's definitely to me worth like a $60 game.
Nice.
Because there's so many different features. There's so much to do in the game. It's full of content. It's really good. So I actually got another copy to give to my brother for Christmas.
Nice.
Because him and his girlfriend play Mortal Kombat 10 or X. So I got, you know, the 11, the package.
You kind of letting the cat out the bag a little early.
If he watches, if he listens, he knows what he's got for Christmas. Come
Sorry,
on.
bro.
Hey,
we got a spoiler alert.
Hey, sneak peek for my brother.
Sneak peek.
You know what you got. If you didn't listen, then that's on you. But anywho, so yeah, I got him that. Cool thing is, the game is cross with the PS5.
Okay.
So once I get my PS5,
Cross-platform?
Yeah,
or
cross-platform,
what's that?
yeah.
Okay.
yeah, so I can just
Yeah.
pop in the disc that has the enhanced version
Oh, nice.
for PS5. So once I get my PS5, you
You'll
know
still
that
be able
game.
to
Is it,
play
it's
it.
cross-gen too then, huh? Does PS4 players play with PS5 players?
I believe so.
Yeah,
but
okay.
I'm not too sure.
Cool.
Comments correct me on that,
Yeah.
you experts out there. But yeah, so I've been messing with that. I went back and played some Warzones last night actually with Eric Wilson, Joe, Squid. Shout out to you guys.
Cool.
Nice.
Cool.
So dude, Warzones, I still really like.
Is
that
there
game.
anything fun going on in Warzone in the holiday season?
They added a ton of content.
Really?
They added
Cool.
new modes. There's a lot of content. So
Oh, weren't they bringing it together with Cold War? Did they make that switch already? Is that why you jumped
Yeah.
back in?
yeah, and Cold
Oh,
War is
okay.
Cold War is free this weekend, guys. So
Oh,
feel free to
snap.
play Cold War until the 24th, I think.
Oh, okay,
dang.
nice.
So
snap
I just
that on my
downloaded that on
system.
my PC too, so I'm gonna
Okay.
try it out. But yeah, they're excuse me. For Warzones, they're bringing guns from Cold War into Warzones.
Finally, we were talking about how they're
So-
gonna link those two
So
together.
they're doing
right?
such a good job at merging their franchises together. So that's what I kind of been playing. What about you, Sir Knight?
Dude, man, I've been pretty hooked on Valhalla this
Nice.
week. Yeah, pretty darn hooked.
On next
man.
gen, right?
Yeah, I've been playing on PS5
Alright,
exclusively.
Nice.
That's been a ton of fun. You know, I can't get over, man, like how much better a game is in 60 frames per second.
Oh, of course.
And ray tracing and stuff. Like,
I definitely got to check out the ray tracing.
it just makes the experience, man, like so much better. It's like more fun.
Of course.
It's hard to like describe the experience. But it's not just like, you know, 4K 60 frames per second. The game is actually really, really good.
It's a good game.
And I see the improvements they made from Odyssey into Valhalla. Like the character models, even your character screen when you open your inventory is like fully animated and like very detailed. The world looks incredible. I don't know if that's just because I'm playing on PS5. Like I don't have anything to compare it to.
Yeah.
So I don't want you to like take my words and like go buy it on your PS4 and like expect
Yeah.
what I'm talking
This is
about.
a masterpiece. It's
PS5
better
is
than
Like,
T-Lu 2.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, don't go that far. But like I'm really enjoying it. Like the combat's a lot of fun. Really enjoying the combat. Of course, I'm enjoying the stealth mechanics. Not quite on par of T-Lu 2 as far as I'm concerned when it comes to stealth mechanics, but still I feel like an assassin. I feel, you know, like if it meets a lot of the parameters that I look for.
Better than Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, I think it's better than Ghost of
Okay.
Tsushima
All
for
right.
sure. I just think because the AI is a lot better. so it feels a
Okay.
little bit more fluid. Like I'm actually.
It feels like
attacking
if you mess
humans.
up, you might actually
Yeah,
get caught.
exactly. Like
Yeah.
I feel a little
Okay.
concerned. I
That's
actually
good.
feel a little bit of worry.
Nice.
And even in the way the way my guy moves and stuff, it's different. It just feels more.
It should be
realistic.
right with the game Assassin's Creed. Right?
Yeah,
It
yeah,
should have some
exactly.
emphasis on Assassin.
But what's crazy is how two I think is actually a little better. They do stealth better, I think, than even Assassin's Creed does.
Yeah.
But Assassin's Creed still hits the mark, you know,
Mhm.
and they're incorporating, the blending, in the old school Assassin's Creed games, you can blend into the crowds or blend
Okay,
in
yeah,
doing
yeah,
something
yeah.
to hide yourself with
Yeah,
your
you
hood.
can walk through like a little
you know,
crowd and
yeah.
gun in. Or,
So they have enough stealth mechanic depth
Nice.
there that is really neat. What I really love this time around, though, of course, they have fully functioning RPG elements, all weapons. You have chests you open up, you find new gear, new types of weapons, different rarities of weapons, all the way to
Nice.
legendary. So that's that's what I love.
Yeah, that's literally been like the one reason why I want to play it is to like go and search for those mythical weapons like
Oh,
Excalibur and like searching for freaking Thor's hammer.
Dang.
Different weapons like
That's
that. Like that stuff.
Exactly,
that stuff's
dude.
tight.
Like that's another thing that I'm loving about this game that I wasn't expecting when we first saw the trailer. Like it's a Viking game, but dude, to be honest, it really feels medieval to me.
Yeah.
And I love the medieval era. You know how many
for
books
sure.
we've read?
Yeah.
Like we love medieval. Like Dark Souls is like medieval to me too. Like it's a little
Right.
different, but it's
Definitely.
kind of medieval. And this is like having that vibe. Like
Dang.
I can't wait to play with like a sweet longsword. Right now I'm sticking with the axes and some of the flails.
Mhm.
Okay.
But like I'm really looking forward to getting into some longsword
Nice.
combat. Like Dark Souls.
That's
Kind of
dope.
feel
Are the axes two-handed?
two-handed axes and one-handed axes.
Are they
Can you dual wield?
also like ranged?
Yes, you can dual wield.
Like are they ranged? Like you
You
can
could
throw
throw
them?
axes.
Okay.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's
one
real
of your special
versatile. That's what I like
abilities.
about like the axes are like in Neo 2 is like the hatchets, but like because you
Yeah,
can throw.
it's
them,
on a
so
cooldown
nice.
though. The throw is on a cooldown.
Right. Yeah. That's
But
understandable.
and
That's
you
dope.
you chuck them, dude. Like
Yeah.
you're throwing like 6 of them out, and you're just like AOE.
You just pull them from some
with
random
axes.
pocket.
Yeah, it's like I don't know where he found all these axes from, but
That's dope.
he's throwing like 6, 8 of them.
I'll just roll
and
with
then he
it.
like smashes someone down with the last one he has.
Yeah.
But like, so that's a lot of fun. Of course, like these are all the things that I wish Ghost had, which
Yeah.
we'll get into that, as we talk more about this episode. But also the one last thing I'll mention that I'm really just shocked by is the talent tree is like incredibly massive. It's
Really?
a constellation of freaking.
Dang.
Now, are you always
Talents.
getting talent points to fill the
Every
tree
time
up,
you
or
level,
what?
you get two. Every time you level, you get 2.
Okay.
Nice.
And I actually spent additional money in the marketplace. I did this on Odyssey as well. So one thing I usually do is I bought the experience boost.
Okay.
It's $10 and it's an experience boost across all characters, all playthroughs, the whole game.
Is there like a
So-
discount for having PlayStation Plus?
I didn't see a discount for PlayStation Plus, unfortunately, like there was for Destiny 2.
Destiny 2, yeah.
Um,
For Game Pass.
for Game Pass,
Right.
yeah. I didn't see that on this one, unfortunately. But I always enjoy it. From what I've played so far, I don't need it. I feel like I'm outpowering.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Enemies.
I'm already overpowered the zone I came into. So clearly they didn't expect you to have this.
Okay.
Like as you're playing through the game, you will get powerful enough, I think, to move from zone to zone.
Without a
But
problem.
I'm like outpowering it. But I like it because I feel like everything I do, I'm rewarded for it even more so. So it just feels better.
right.
Like almost everything I do, I get like a level up.
Yeah.
So it just
That's
feels like,
dope.
gosh, this is so rewarding and so exciting. I constantly just want to keep going out and doing things to get more rewards and more things. So it was worth the $10 for me. Especially because I paid like $48 for it. I got like on sale.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Sure.
I didn't mind spending a little bit more. They gave us a great deal on it. They didn't have a $70 next gen price up bump
top,
that
so
Ubisoft
yeah.
did.
That's
Right.
So
dope.
like, what do you know? I'm still going to give you that $10 back.
Yeah.
So I don't mind doing that. I know a lot of people hate transactions, and understand me. You don't need it. You do not need it to have fun in this game. I just did it because it adds to my enjoyment level for the game. But it's incredible. It seems so far as like the majority of my power level is coming from my talents. Every time you add a new talent, you get a power level boost, and you are basically basing your power level boost off the zone you're in. So in order to go in that zone, you need a certain power level. And it's like, goodness, man, there are some zones that are like hundreds of power level, hundreds.
Dang.
Oh.
But if you look at the talent tree, there's like, it's incredible, dude.
So
like,
there's it's a way-
enormous.
it's
there
easy
are
to
clearly
reach it.
hundreds of talents.
Yeah.
So is it like Path of Exile talent tree, like that, like a web, or is it more like
it's
WoW?
a web.
Okay.
It's a web. Yeah, exactly. It's just a big web. And as you click on new talents, a whole it's like a fog of war web too.
Okay.
Like you
a
can't
whole
see it all
patch.
yet. Yeah, all of a sudden the path just appears and it's like,
It
and it's
opens
in a
up for you.
constellation like a web. They make it look like stars.
Is there a limit to how many you can unlock, or can you theoretically like get
Dude,
thousands?
I don't know, bro. Like I don't know how
Like,
many
is
they
there a
have.
level cap?
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah,
Like, can
I
you only
don't
get
know.
so far in one way?
I
or
was
can you
trying
just
to
keep
look.
playing?
It looks like there's an edge to the
Okay.
universe or whatever of talents you have. It looks like there's an edge. Like, cause I was wondering, like, gosh, man, how many are there?
But what he's referring to is like, is there like a level cap, or can you just keep
Can you-
leveling
That's a good question.
and
I
keep
don't
getting
know.
skill points?
Right.
And then
Because
fill
that
up every
would be
part,
dope
portion
if
of
you
the-
could just
Right.
play it for like 6
I think
months
you can, man.
and
And
unlock
get
everything,
everything.
and you're
I
like
think you can.
OP.
That would be cool.
I think you can. I'm
That's
almost
dope.
positive you can.
Because I hate when
You
like
know?
certain games. I mean, I get why WoW does it, but you know when you commit to a talent tree, like, hey,
And you're
I'm
stuck
this
there.
spec, I could only go to
Right.
31. That'd be cool if you could unlock 1,000 different abilities.
Yeah, and they have a free reset. You can just reset it at any
Nice.
time.
Oh,
At
nice.
will, like
and
you could just
reallocate. Yep, you just press the button, you reallocate.
That's cool.
Yeah,
So-
I would like it to be regulated though, in a sense, because right, if you've got like every power, then you'd just be like super OP'd, right?
Yeah.
You'd be running around like Superman on steroids.
Yeah.
But like,
eventually,
if you had to like narrow it to like this direction to be able to have like this type of, you know, ultimate skills or something like that, or you can move it to this one. Like, I don't mind like being able to move it, but still being like restricted to a certain direction. You know, that way,
Yeah, I got you.
that way I just don't have like some super crazy move
Right.
that I don't even like use like
Yeah.
that. You know
Exactly.
what I mean? I want them to be purposeful,
Yeah.
but I do want access to them all. So that would be cool.
Yeah.
But the fact that
but-
you can
Respec, that's cool.
respec it is cool. Also.
Yeah, but they have zones that go that high too.
yeah.
Like you want a power level in the hundreds.
Mm.
Like it seems ridiculous, right? Because you could become so powerful, but they have zones that require like that level of power.
Do
that
they
you
got
can,
like a new
enter.
game plus feature by chance? Where
I
it's
don't.
like-
That's a good question. I was wondering if they did too. If
I
they
think
did,
they're
then
gonna
you would
incorporate one.
definitely be able
That'd be
to
cool.
fill
It's
out
like,
that.
hey, I could
that
pick
yeah, you
more.
could definitely fill out that tree. You know, for certain.
Yeah, so it seems like that
Um,
game has a lot to offer.
The only thing
Um,
that's missing is ship combat, which the other two had. So
Oh,
Odyssey
I
had
would've
ship
thought they would have
combat.
copied that from like Rogue.
You have
Movies.
ships, you sail
But you
the,
don't
the
fight.
rivers, but there's no ship to ship combat, which is a total bummer.
Oh man.
I
but-
gotta try this new era of Assassin's Creed. There's a rumor that on the 21st, the Epic is doing like a Christmas. Every day they're giving you free games on the Epic Store.
Oh crap!
And Origins is rumored on the 21st to be free. So
Mm.
I definitely want to try this new era.
I
That's
know
really good.
Ubisoft is definitely doing Christmas giveaways. So like I
Ooh.
think they're doing it daily. So as well or whatever. So I believe like 2 days ago, they gave like an outfit or something like that for Watchdogs Legions.
Nice.
So and then they have like some other stuff.
Oh yeah, they
that's
gave away
coming
that
out.
Starlink game for free. That
Yeah,
was
they've been giving a lot of
yeah,
games
I
for
forgot.
PC away for free.
Yeah, I
but
forgot about
I'm
that.
not playing, you know,
Right.
PC games. So I collect them anyways, just because it's attached to my Ubisoft account
sure, for
and
sure.
it'll be
Same.
there. But yeah,
That's
but I'm definitely looking to see if they'll give anything else for that stuff. And I mean, Destiny 2, they had given something away not too long ago. Actually, it wasn't Destiny 2. It was Twitch Prime Gaming. So like if you guys have Amazon Prime, you get Twitch Prime, and then Twitch Prime gives you free games monthly.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
like a lot of times they'll give you like, well, they give you free stuff. I'll put it like that. So like they'll give you like maybe 5 or 6 games, and then they'll give you like add-ons
Mhm.
for free to like
Skins,
other games.
deals,
So
Right.
it doesn't
Lots
matter.
of stuff like that.
Yeah, for certain ones,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter whether you're playing it on PS4,
Mhm.
Xbox, or PC. You know what I mean? It just attaches to your
Right.
account. You can get it. So like, I had got like a couple of exotics, like an exotic, what is the damn?
Skin or whatever. The exotic
Yeah,
skins.
the exotic,
Like the outfits?
the eye. What's the eye?
Oh, the
Oh.
I can't remember.
what
the
is
name.
it? It's called the
Your ghost?
Yeah,
Ghost,
there you go.
okay,
You
yeah.
go. So you get an exotic ghost, you
Oh,
get an
yeah,
exotic bike, and you get an exotic ship,
Yeah.
and then you get
Okay.
an exotic emote. You got
Yeah.
an exotic emote for downloading that.
That's the
And
one
so
thing I
that
never
was
had
cool.
an exotic of. Was an exotic ghost shell. I had an exotic ship. I had an exotic bike, but I never had an exotic ghost shell. So that's
I
Yeah.
believe the only way to get it is from
just
Twitch,
from stuff
too.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they have the stuff that you can get using like bright dust or whatever
Oh,
from
yeah.
the
Oh,
there's
store.
exotic shells you
can
can
buy
buy?
that
Oh,
stuff.
okay,
So
that's
yeah,
true.
like, and then if you did the Halloween event, they gave you an exotic ghost bike and then ship
Oh,
if you did
nice.
enough work to get them all.
That's dope.
So I'm
I
sure
missed
it's
that
the
train.
same for this Christmas
Yeah.
event that's already started. you know.
Nice.
So what, is that what you've been playing, or what have you been doing?
Yeah, but are you finished?
Yeah,
with
so
what
I
you were
mean,
doing?
because I got more to talk about, but because it's gonna be in my top
Okay.
10, you know.
All
So
right,
we'll
for
get
sure.
there. So I'll say some stuff for that. But
Okay.
I think I know what you've been playing right this week.
Yeah, so you know, despite all of the complaints that have been on the internet repeatedly about Cyberpunk 2077, I have actually been playing Cyberpunk 2077 on the PS4 Pro,
Nice.
and I've been enjoying it. You know, once I put it in, I didn't want to drop it.
Right.
You know what I
Damn.
mean? Like, I think it's a great game. So I've definitely put like at least, you know, maybe 12 hours into it or something
Already,
like
huh?
that.
Yeah.
Just in the couple of days that I've been playing it. And I want to explore the city and
Right.
stuff. And then, you know, with all of the backlash and the constant updates that have already happened and been projected to happen to make the graphics better and to eliminate the bugs and all that stuff, make it run smoother, I've kind of been like, okay, well, I can take my time with this because I'd rather not go through the entire game and then at the ass end get like the nice, you know, beautified update. You know what I mean? I'd rather get it while I'm still, you know, enjoying some of the story.
Mhm.
So if I play side missions here, there, whatever, you know, do some exploration, you know, try to find weapons and different things like that, you know, I feel like that's, you know, like I can do that, spend my time with that. And then, you know, by the time I get to the end of the game, maybe they'll already have the update, you know,
Right.
out that I can get
Right.
like the best experience
Mhm.
continued out or whatever. You know, I have had plenty of crashes. You know, I had texted you guys like
Mhm.
I had taken like a small break to do some other stuff, hang with my kids, and then I got on and then
Insta
I
crashed, right?
I
Yeah.
played for like 2 seconds and then immediately
Damn.
crashed on me when I had repowered up. And so I've had at least like 5 or 6 crashes.
Damn.
You know what I mean? But I've come across like a few bugs, especially like you were saying with Squid when he was
Putting pants
like changing his pants or whatever. The pants didn't materialize, so you're just running around butt naked. But I decided to go
That's
the
one of the famous ones too. That trailer I sent you, the guy got him on his body, his pants disappeared, and his cheeks are just hanging out as he's driving. Like, that's hilarious, man.
yeah. So I decided to just make my character the modest route. I didn't want dangly bits, you know, while
Yeah.
I'm switching. It's so
Yeah.
weird because like when you're switching in between clothes, you get naked and then the clothes appear on
That's
you.
so
and stuff.
weird,
So
man.
it's
that
like
they
That's
did
weird,
that
dude.
option.
instead of
I
it
didn't-
just
I
like
don't get
appearing
that,
or
man.
whatever.
I'm surprised there wasn't more like outcry or controversy over them allowing you to adjust your dangly bits like that, man.
I don't know. I
That's
think
weird to me. We live in
I
a
think,
society that didn't even mention it.
I think because it's
No game's
like
ever done that before.
rated M or whatever. Well, I mean, there's been
Mm-mm. No
There-
game's ever let you adjust your dangly bits, man.
maybe not.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, but I don't.
Not no mainstream, that's for sure.
Yeah, maybe not.
Not no mainstream game that you're supposed to be buying for your.
I think you
teenage
could. There's
kids at
definitely
home.
been games that allowed you to make your bulge bigger or smaller, but you kept your underwear
Maybe
on.
I can't even think
I
about
can't
that,
even
but
remember which
yeah,
one it
I don't know
is.
what
That's
game that
hilarious.
But I
was,
know I
maybe there
have.
was.
I have played a game
Like
that allowed
that would
you
be
to make
the
your bulge
extent that
bigger.
I can imagine, but like your actual dingly, like that's crazy to me.
Yeah,
But
but
anyways, I would go modesty route too. Yeah.
yeah, but anyway, so you know, I just been enjoying playing it.
Nice, man.
I've been watching like, you know, lots of like videos and stuff like that on YouTube. You know, showcasing like certain weapons and
Yeah,
different things
for
like
sure.
that, like that you could find that were free. You know what I mean? So I've been, you know, on the hunt for those. Sometimes there's like restrictions, you know, for like, you know, you got to go through certain parts of the story or whatever. But I found like a couple that I've seen, but it's like, it's fun, man. And I'm playing on hard mode. It is tough. Because it seems like every damn person that I'm coming across that I could
There's a
fight
skull level
has a
character,
skull
yeah.
above their head. So it's like, damn, like I'm level 15 or 16, and it's just like I'm not going like crazy far out into the map, you know what I mean? But it's like everybody I'm coming across is a skull, and it's
Damn.
like, okay, I can still kill him, which is nice, but you just got to put in work, man. So it's like now you're looking at it as like, okay, I got to find like vantage points that it's going to give me lots of cover so that I can heal up when I get shot because it's going to do mad damage. And then I got to be able to peck them off from afar. You know what I mean? So I need a decent weapon or I need to be close enough to be able to do some good damage. But, you know, I've been constantly dying and having to restart, but you know, I've been able to make it through, but I'm enjoying it. You know, I enjoy challenging games
for sure.
that will still pay off. You know what I mean? I don't want to just be slaughtered repeatedly
Sure.
and there's nothing worthwhile afterwards.
But you want the game to punch back.
Yeah, but I don't mind them hitting back.
Yeah.
So, you know, it just takes like a little more ingenuity. Like, okay, how can I freak this? All right, let me get on top of this box. Let me be able to do this here, and then you know I can jump back. I found myself in the in like the wastelands, like the landfills. Trying to.
Have you tried playing stealth in that game at all?
Yeah.
Okay. Some people I was listening to, another podcast I was listening to, was saying that they thought that the game wasn't as inviting to stealth. Like at some point in time, you're gonna have to guns blaze. Like you couldn't get through a whole zone methodically stealth only. Like it was almost harder to do that than like Assassin's Creed would be.
Yeah.
Or like standard stealth games. Is that true or?
So the issue that I see comes with your weapons for the most part, right? Like you can find sniper guns, but not every sniper gun is gonna have like 2 mod attachments that allow you to attach a scope and a silencer. Most of the time, they're just gonna have like a scope.
I see. So you
and then so you're gonna be sounding off, you know, when you fire off. You know, there was a lot.
What
of
about the enemy placement? Are they placed in such a way that doesn't really let you do it in stealth? That you kind of got to pull the gun out and shoot now?
There's definitely been like, you know, they've been piled up, you know, amongst each other where they all have kind of eyes on each other.
And there's
but
no way to like.
There's also different enhancements that you can get with your cyber deck that can allow you to do like a whistle. You know what I mean? So you can send off like a whistle in their ear,
whatever,
and then they're gonna come towards your area. So if you have a decent enough area, you can whistle to them to get over there.
And try to
you can
pick
move
them off
and then wait until they turn their back. But like I said, everybody has skulls over their head. So unless you have like, if you can actually see their level or they just don't have a skull over their head, then when you go to like grab them behind their back, they just push you off and then they turn around, pull out their gun, and they start firing and you'll be eliminated pretty quick. So it's probably something that I have to like increase in like maybe my body or something like that to be able to compensate for that. Or it's just all about level. But after a while, it's just you find like a best point to attack, and then you try to attack. And you know, and your tech guns are gonna allow you to be behind something and still shoot something. You know, as opposed to having to put yourself out there and then wind up getting nicked. There's been plenty of times where I'd be putting in good work, but because I'm in combat, I can't do a quick save or anything like that. And then like, you know, they're all skulls, so I like peek my head out and like, you know, a dude might be like shooting over a freaking box or something like that, but he just got a good hit off and it hit me right in the head and I'm done. Damn. Like instant, you know what I mean? Because they're just hitting so hard, so much harder than me. And I have to put so much time in. So sometimes it takes a lot of finessing, man. Like rooftops, primo spots, man. Like if they can't get up there, then you're really good.
So let me ask you this. So the console review on Metacritic is in the 50s. Whereas the PC one is about an 87.
Yeah.
What do you think's the true score in your opinion?
If you can bypass the fact that you have the bugs and the crashes, the regular things that people are complaining about, I'd say that this is like a good solid like 80, 86.
Okay.
Yeah, 87.
So if this didn't have like, let's say it didn't have any of the bugs, any of the crashes, just came out solid. Is this like a masterpiece? Would it be in the 9 to 10 range if it had like none of the issues? Is it one of those iconic games? Like
I would honestly
Witcher iconic level.
It's definitely like Witcher good. I mean, like it's a lot. Because
Witcher was game of the year.
Yeah, it's a lot of quests. It's a lot of things to do, a lot of things to find, you know, so exploration is up there. You know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff that you can do in this game. So to be bored in this game isn't even it. I haven't even come across like just a whole bunch of mundane areas. You know what I mean? Like where it's like you go down the same street and it's like the same thing. Like
no,
I've gone down
incredibly detailed.
I've gone down areas, man, and there's like 30 like gang members just there chilling. And you can't even walk through. Like if I just wanted to walk through, like please don't bother me. You know what I mean? I'm just going to this vending machine over here, you know, so I can fast travel or whatever. Right. You just get shot up because they just see you and they're like, who are you? You know what I mean? Boom, boom, boom. You just getting shot up. But, you know, and there's other areas where there's just like 2 or 3 guys. But there's always some type of interaction that you can have just going down the street. So I think it's great in that sense. Because
Yeah,
it's
I
always
feel like
busy.
if it was fixed, it would be a 9.5 plus
Yeah,
game. I
for
think
sure.
honestly, from what I've read and seen so far, it's not there. Like
Mhm.
it's garbage right now on the PS4. Like it's unplayable. It has to be a 4 or 5 right now
on the
but
base console.
on the base consoles. It has to be down that level. But I think like in a few months, if like the PS5 version launches and it's polished and playable, I think I would probably have I probably would rate it super high. I can imagine myself doing that. Like I'm
Yeah.
not saying I'm going to, but I can imagine a world in which I played the actual game they want us to play and it'd be a masterpiece level game.
Yeah, I mean, for me, even with all of the bugs and stuff right now, and it's still looking like it's a last gen game, because the graphics aren't like
Yeah.
super crazy.
Mhm.
I would still give it an 8.
That's good.
Just playing it right
Even
now.
with
I
crashes and
think-
bugs, huh?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
still
Even with
good,
the
huh?
crashes and bugs,
Yeah.
because the crashes aren't like so consistent on the PS4 Pro that I just cannot play the game. You know what I mean? The bugs aren't crazy. Like, I mean, sometimes with like a certain gun, I can't aim down the sights and shoot, so I have to shoot it off the hip. But sometimes it's just like switching the gun and then switching back
And
to
you
it,
fix that
and then
glitch.
it's and then it's fixed. Or sometimes there's certain items that are available to be picked up, but I just can't actually put my crosshairs on it and pick it up. It just won't
Right.
show up. But like literally, if they just fix those bugs and then they actually give a visual upgrade, like how it should be presented, I guess, with like maybe some 60 frames per second and some 4K, maybe even some ray tracing or whatever
And
in
you're
the
like,
PS5
gosh, this is
version.
wonderful, right?
This
Yeah,
is
yeah.
like in its own lane. This is like a
Right.
10, you know what I mean?
Right,
'Cause,
right.
like I enjoy the story. The story is cool. You know how it's going, and there's stories.
That's what I'm hearing. Yeah,
There's stories
yeah, I can see
everywhere,
it hitting
so-
that level for sure. I can see that too.
Yeah, so I'm having fun with it, despite all
Mhm.
of the little glitches and the crashes and stuff like that.
That's
It's
good
like,
to hear.
Yeah.
damn, it crashes, but it's like shit. Let me, hurry up, do the little process thing so that I can restart it and get back in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I can only imagine, with the PS5, even if it did have the crashes, if it was just able to get right back in there because of loading,
Right.
I would still, it wouldn't
Having
even
fun
bother
that
me like
way,
that.
right?
You
Yeah.
know, because I mean,
It jumps up a
we've
whole
all,
point, right?
yeah,
It
we've
goes
all
from 8 to
had
a
like
9 now,
the
right?
blue
Yeah.
screen
Mhm.
crashes
Yeah,
on
for sure.
certain games. So I mean,
sure.
this is like, this sucks, but as long as you get back in it and play,
Yeah.
Right.
So
yeah. That's
yeah.
good to hear. I'm happy to hear that.
yeah,
sure.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's definitely fun.
and I guess we're getting our top 10, getting ahead of ourselves, but our top 10 will not include any games that came out in December of this year. We're going from November to November, so
Right.
you
and
won't
then
see
we're
Cyberpunk.
going from even like November 20th. Or
Yeah,
so,
like the end of
somewhere around that.
November
Yeah, like
to
the end of
this November.
2019. Yeah.
Yeah. So November to November essentially.
Yeah.
And so Cyberpunk won't be included. Though I'm sure you probably would have added it to your top 10, right? Like if we were including December, it's good enough. Probably,
Yeah, if we
even in
were-
its current state, to be probably in your top 10.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
that's
it
more
would
like
definitely
next
have
year,
it would
right?
definitely have
Yeah.
moved one of my selections
Yeah.
off of the list
For sure.
But and then we're also not even including PS5 games.
Yes,
as well.
exclusives. Yes,
Yeah,
like no Demon
exclusives.
Souls.
So
kind of
yeah, we're not
Godfall, if that would even make a list.
we're not
but
including
yeah.
bug snacks. you
Right,
know what
not
I
including
mean?
Yeah.
bug snacks.
those type of-
yes.
Those type of games, and that's only solely because me and Mark don't even have a
Yeah.
PlayStation 5 yet, so we couldn't even. I mean,
Even
some
try
of
if
you
we
guys
wanted
watching,
to. Yeah.
some of you guys watching or listening might not even have a PS5 to even be able to like relate to the experiences or whatever. So
Right.
Ray's the only one that could give that insight, but
Yeah,
we're
we're saving
hopefully
that.
next year.
I'm sure it'll be. It's a solid enough game that even with all the great games coming out next year, it will still be
It'll still be on the
shining in the
list, yeah.
top list.
think
I
so.
definitely foresee Demon Souls still being talked about.
I agree. I think it will.
later on,
Yeah,
so.
all next year it'll still
Can't
be
wait to
talked
play that
about.
game.
Yeah, it's so incredible, right? So,
Yeah.
But with that, I guess we could jump in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll start off with number 10.
Okay.
Right,
Number
so
10,
Ray, do you
yes.
want to go first with your
All
10?
right,
And
sure.
just a little disclaimer, right? That we don't have like any specific criteria or anything like that. This is each of our opinions on what we felt was like the best games of 2020, our top 10. So, Ray has his own criteria. I have my own. Mark has his own, and
Yep.
we can explain, right now
Yeah.
just to give you
Yep.
guys a little premise on it. But like mine's is literally the games that I've played. So if I haven't played it, I'm not gonna give my opinion on it as far as it being like top or not.
Same
you know what I
here.
mean? I'm not gonna declare that this is a 6, even though I never touched it. I'm only
Yep.
giving the games that I've actually played throughout this year, 2020.
Yep.
So
I think that stays true for all of us. So it's games we played, games we bought, games that we actually enjoyed. So my list obviously going to be different than you guys because I didn't play like The Last of Us 2, for example.
Right.
So I don't know you guys' lists, but
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
none
haven't
of us-
told each
yeah,
other that.
exactly.
so
our
yeah,
lists,
we don't
so
know
this
each
is all
other's
random.
lists, but it's just games that we played. So you will see variance, and it's just more individual. So
Yeah, and I hope, yeah, exactly. Only games that of all the games we played in all of 2020, these are our 10 favorites that we played, and hopefully between the three of us, we hit the majority of anything great that came out. I know there will be a couple that we will miss, like just right off the bat, like my list does not include Doom Eternal, and I would have included it, but I didn't feel I played it enough this year to give it a fair shake.
Yeah, I didn't even touch.
And
Doom
the little
Eternal,
that
so-
I played it, I did like, but I didn't feel I played it enough to give me a proper opinion on if it should be even rated or not.
Right.
I didn't think it was fair. But that's not to say it's not a great game. Like
Yep.
Doom Eternal was a great, great game. Even the little bit I played, I saw what was great about it.
Mhm.
And I saw why it was so beloved. Great soundtrack, great lore, very unique and polished gameplay. Even if it wasn't quite, it was a little bit too fast for my pace. But that was on purpose. That's by design. That was not like a broken game. Like that's how it's meant to be played.
Mhm.
And once you get better at it, you move from enemy to enemy with fluid motion, and it's incredible.
So that's
I
like
get
your
it.
honorable mention.
That's like I guess that'd be my honorable mention. I just wanted people to know because it's not going to be on my list. I don't think it's going to be on any of our lists. And I get it. You probably would be like screaming at us, "Where's Doom Eternal at?" Right? And
Yeah.
I get it because it is really great, but it didn't make our list because yes, our criteria is games that we played in 2020 that we really enjoyed of what we played. So if we're missing a game that was great, it's probably because we never played it.
Yeah.
And Doom Eternal kind of falls into that category.
Yeah, so since you're going,
Yeah,
why don't
so
you go and give your first?
My first game, and this one is like right at the beginning of the year. It would be in November of last year, but I didn't play it, of course, until about January. It's like my first big game I played in the new year, and that was Jedi Fallen Order.
Oh,
So
okay, nice.
that's my 10th
So that's your
spot.
number 10.
Yeah, and it was a very good game. Like it was very polished. I really enjoyed the combat a ton. I thought they captured playing a Jedi like perfect.
Nice.
Like they really did a great job capturing the way it feels to fight as a Jedi using your force powers. The buttons felt in the right place and position to use your abilities, intuitively. I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed the combat. I enjoyed the level traversing, how you moved around the level and jumped from item to item and how they did all that. I enjoyed the characters a lot, like your little android buddy. I really enjoyed the characters. Yeah, the reason why this game is not higher on my list and really just barely made the cut was because there is no real loot grind. There is nothing to really get or attain. It's only really just combat. You're just moving through the world
Gotcha.
with combat. I'm like, that's fun.
So it's not like Dark Souls where
It's-
you're grinding.
Right. It's not like Dark Souls where like you're grinding like
see.
souls and you're collecting the dopest souls and turning them, forging them into how cool is that, right? Like
Dude.
Dark Souls is just so good on every level. They nail like every level right. This only really nails like the combat level right. And so it's missing some aspects that I would have appreciated for a game that I would add to my top 10 list. It did make it because the combat was really good. And I felt it deserved to be on the list of the games I played in 2020. But it is flawed. It is a flawed game. So that's my 10.
Okay.
Gotcha.
What about you, Mark?
So my 10, guys, is a game called Rogue Company.
Oh,
Okay.
I heard about that.
Rogue
Yeah.
Company
yeah.
is a game by Hi-Rez Studios, which, in my opinion, Hi-Rez are like the pioneers for cross-play, cross-platform games. All their games, Smite, Paladins.
Paladins. I love Paladins.
Me
Yeah,
too. That was
that's
a great game. I didn't
Yeah.
know you played Paladins.
Yeah.
But all their games are cross-play, cross-platform. So if you buy something on your Switch and you
You're
go play it on a
playing on
PC, it's the same account.
Nice.
So I love that convention. So Rogue Company is a 4-on-4 third-person team-based shooter,
Free to play too, right?
completely free to play. And it's not play to win, so you just buy cosmetics.
Mhm.
So the one reason why I really liked it is growing up, I played a lot of Counter-Strike. So I like the slow-paced objective. You're planning the bomb. You got to defend. It's not just you're running and gunning. You really got to think it out because
Right.
once you die, you're
Interesting.
out for the round. But this is different because it adds a third-person perspective. So it feels like Gears and Counter-Strike had a baby. And also what's cool is each rogue or each character has a very unique skill set and abilities. So not every character can
Plays the same.
have the same guns.
Okay.
The guns are locked to the characters.
Good for them.
So
for
I
doing
felt like that was a very way to keep the game fresh.
Yeah.
And you could only like have like one character per team. So not everyone's gonna be OP
The same person.
Right.
with snipers, or not everyone is having like, you know, whatever the top meta. You really have to build a team that, you know, complements each other. So it's more team oriented, and you know, it's a good game to play with friends.
I heard there was a lot of people that loved the Switch version too. Like they were like addicted to it. They couldn't stop playing Rogue Company. Some people I was watching online.
So
some channels I watch.
So it went into like, I guess, early access in July, and then it was completely open in October of this year.
Right.
So another thing that I like that is it has varying game modes. So it has the like plant the bomb objective based. It has the death match, which is different than other deathmatch games because this is based on like a ticket system. So your team has a certain amount of lives. So, you know, it kind of, if you're really good, if you're not as good, you might hurt your team more because you're gonna burn through all
tickets,
of it.
It's like survival in Destiny too.
Yeah.
For Crucible.
Mm-hmm. So every mode really incorporates team. So you really want to stick with the team. It rewards you for playing with teams.
That's the reason why I never got into it, was because
you need a solid team, right?
Yeah, you need a solid team, and I don't really have a lot of people that I play with too much online. But I always wanted to play it, like, because everyone really it looked very polished and everyone was loving it.
Yeah, and
we should definitely try to get together. And
try for sure. It's free, but I always like games that incentivize playing with the team, because I feel like the current thing for games these days is you just play by yourself. There's no incentive to play with other people, and games are best when you play with others. I feel.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I feel like
oftentimes, yes,
all the modes really want you to play together, be strategic, and then third person, it adds a really cool flair, because I feel like, you know, you normally play games on first person, so third person adds a different element of strategy. It really makes the game feel different than everything else offered on the you know, out there. So that's why
cool.
Rogue Company is my number 10.
Nice, good pick. So my number 10 is actually Fall Guys.
Okay,
nice.
The reason why I picked Fall Guys is because I just felt like it was a really fun game that was just, you know, you could just turn it on, hop in, and then nonchalantly, you know, just play in some tournaments and whatnot, you know, some competitions. And it seemed like it was very versatile. Like if my nephews are over, like we can literally see like who lasts longer, like who goes to the
literally
end.
See it.
Yeah, who goes to, you know, who goes furthest. So, you know, it's like, okay, you know, one will play and then he only made it to like the second round or something like that. But, you know, I played, I got all the way to the final. Just couldn't win or whatever, you know what I mean? So it brings that little competition, and then it's kind of something that you can just pass the controller off to and whatnot. So every now and again, when I got like some extra company like that, you know, then I'll put that on and say, okay, you know, who could do best? You know what I mean? Who could do better? So it's a cool little, you know, almost like a family game.
Anyone can play it, kind of thing, right?
Yeah. Anybody can play. It's straightforture. You know what I mean? You got a jump button, you move forward, you can dive. That's it. You know what I mean? It's nothing else. You know, maybe grabbing or whatever. But just that, and then the competitions are really fun. Like it's just a fun game to just like sit down and play for like a couple of hours.
Lots of good laughs with the family, right?
Yeah. You lose, you don't gotta watch the rest of the race, but you could if you wanted to. If you was really invested in it. But you know, you could just dip out and then just start a new one. So I always enjoy that about it, and then the fact that they always are adding stuff on, you know, the little costumes and stuff like that. They're funny and things like that, you know, and it kind of gives you like something to achieve. I kind of wish there was something that you would get like consistently, like almost like every match you played, you would get something, because that would be really cool. And feel like really rewarding.
Right.
But
you really want to keep playing then, right?
Yeah, but there's like this slight grind feeling that they're kind of giving you to,
I was kind of noticing that,
like this piece of clothing or whatever. So it's almost like you know, like a badge of honor, like that you have like this specific
whoever
wolf
sees
head
it
or
knows,
whatever.
right? Like you did.
Yeah, like it took me like 1,000 something points to get here, you know what I mean, or whatever. But so Fall Guys was my 10. So it's a great game. It's free to play. So if you guys have it, you know, actually, is it still free to play?
I don't think it's free any longer.
So it was just on PSN 1 month, and then on PC you had to buy it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you
So you
guys
got lucky.
are hearing
Yep.
about this now and you didn't happen to just grab it on a whim from the PSN network, then sorry, but it's definitely
It's probably worth
you
still
know,
buying.
yeah,
you
yeah. It's
know,
probably
on
only a
PC,
couple bucks,
it's
like $5 or so.
I bought it on the Steam. I think it was 15, and I got it.
15?
And I
Okay.
liked it so much, I got it for free,
Yeah.
and then I bought it. So
Okay, yeah.
definitely
So,
worth
I mean,
15's fair. for
Yeah,
that
it's warranted,
game.
and
Yeah.
they're gonna keep on, releasing like updates, and it
Oh,
goes
yeah.
by seasons. So like some of the
Yeah.
rounds or whatever change, like they throw some other rounds or they add more in. You know what I mean? So it's always gonna be, constantly diverse. So that's always a good thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So on to number 9.
9.
Nice.
Yeah. So,
Okay,
go
my
ahead.
number 9 this year was Watch Dogs Legion.
Okay.
Nice.
So it wasn't the highest rated game of the year, but I really enjoyed it. I really had a good time. It came at a time in October when there was kind of a drought in games. There wasn't a whole lot to play, and they released it, and I was really aching for something new to play. And
Yeah.
so I ended up going and picking it up. Got those game coins, right?
Right.
And I ended up really having a good time with it, man. I thought it was actually a really well done game in a lot of ways. Like I thought the world looked great. Like I said, what made it a lot of fun for me was that construction worker. Like when I got that construction worker, the game just opened up to me because you're able to get on that flying
OP.
drone and it was just fun to just fly around the city and just look at the city from up there. Go anywhere, do anything. It made grabbing like the little skill points in all the different locations so much more fun and enjoyable. I just had a blast collecting those, and the recruit system was really cool. It kind of you kind of made me think a little bit of it when you were talking about Cyberpunk, because you said you have guys with skulls above your head, and in Watchdog Legions you actually have guys with skulls above their head too, kind of like a
Okay.
skull.
Yeah.
And they're like elite recruits, and they take some extra steps to recruit, but they have like additional abilities and powers.
So like real dope.
So you can actually like recruit those skull guys. Like imagine if you're playing Cyberpunk and you see guys like really powerful, and you can recruit them to be on your team.
That's
Nice.
dope.
Like how cool is that idea,
That's
right?
pretty cool.
It had a little bit of feelings of like Shadow of War,
Right.
where like the Nemesis system,
Right.
where like you had special unique characters out in the world, and if you come across them and find them, you can like add them to your recruit list and then go through their recruit process. Some of them are kind of in depth, but they're worth it.
Yeah.
Like, and there's quite a few, and you kind of like be picky. Oh, I really like that guy's weapon layout. I really like that guy's abilities.
That's dope.
That was a lot of fun, man. And I had a ton of fun with all the tech. I loved how I can basically do a whole level from literally outside the building. I can just throw like my spider robot out, and I can hack camera to camera, jump machine to machine, or go back to my spider robot and like traverse it.
Yeah.
Like I love that. That was just
that
so
sounds
much
fun.
fun, man. Like, so I had a lot of fun. I played on the permadeath mode. So I
Okay.
did lose a few guys as I was playing through, but it was okay because like I always felt like I can complete the missions because I had my spider robot at my side. And if I lost a recruit I really liked, I would just stop everything I'm doing and go find another recruit of that
That was like that.
profession. Yeah.
That's
And
dope.
recollect them again. So you just got to be a little more cautious, but it made it feel like a little more on edge. Every mission was a little bit, more on edge. So that was a cool feature. So I just had a lot of fun with it. It did a lot of things right. It was not perfect. It was also a very flawed game. The combat wasn't as engaging as I would like. I did almost everything stealth because of that. If it wasn't for the construction worker, I would have had a really hard time traversing that world and trying to get into it. The construction worker really helped open the world up to me. But it was definitely worthy for me to be on my list at 9. So,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Not
That's
bad.
awesome.
Cool game.
All right.
So number 9 for me, guys, was Gears Tactics.
Cool. I
So-
never played that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is a genre of games, these turn-based strategy games, that I just fell in love with this year. So Gears Tactics, it released earlier this year on PC only. I believe now it's on the Xbox
It is.
Series
It
X.
is. It's
So-
on the Game Pass.
Yes. So
I
I got
downloaded it on
I,
Game Pass,
I
yeah.
got it on Game Pass for the PC.
Mhm.
So let me know if
It's
you
on.
play it
Yeah,
on the
it's on
X,
the
on the
S. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
That's dope.
X.
X
Series
only.
X.
It's not on the
Yeah.
old gen.
Oh,
but
1. Right, it's not on the 1.
I
Yeah.
don't believe so.
Only
So-
the series
Yep.
systems. Yeah.
So this game, to me, it's more action. It's more in turn-based games. It's a little more methodical, slower. But Gears Tactics does an amazing job at making it a more action-packed, in-your-face, flashy turn-based game.
Nice.
So you can charge at enemies. There's like the typical Overwatch system in XCOM, but you can do more actions from it instead of just one shot. You can maybe unload your clip. there's a lot more fast gameplay in Gears Tactics. So if you're a big fan of the Gears of War series, I feel like it's a great way to try the turn-based, I'm gonna call it XCOM style game. It has a more linear story than
It's like a tactics turn-based, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Like
It
like
reminds me of a
Advanced
board game.
Wars, right? Advanced Wars or Fire Emblem,
Exactly.
XCOM, of course.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it's more like the XCOM style.
Yeah, because it's more 3D. Yeah.
Yes. So the story is a little more linear on rails than other turn-based games. For example, as Wasteland, which is a little more open than this. But it's still a fantastic game. The visuals are very impressive. Normally these turn-based games aren't very flashy and gorgeous looking, but Gears Tactics looks incredible.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing
So
that
I
one.
think that's why they didn't release it on the Xbox, the last gen. Maybe they did not, I don't remember. But on launch, it was only for PC. But after playing it, I definitely see why.
Sounds like CD
Okay.
Projekt Red should have taken the,
Yeah. So
from
Microsoft,
there.
shout outs to you guys. But it's a
Yeah.
great game. I wish too there's a little more customizations on some of the heroes, because in other turn-based games you kind of have more of the flexibility of making a build, but they wanted to keep the heroes true to the Gears of War franchise. So
Right,
I see why you
right.
can't like completely
Right.
rebuild.
Because it is
and making
Gears. Yeah.
So, but you can get mercenaries, customize those. So it's a really awesome game. I highly recommend everyone try it out, especially if you're a Gears of War fan. So that's why it was my number 9.
Okay, nice. So my number 9 is actually Pokemon Sword and Shield. So I know that came out
was
before this
November.
like
Yeah, it
time
was
frame
November
or
last
whatever.
year.
It was barely in there, but
15th. Same day
um,
as actually Fallen Order. So
Okay.
Fallen Order came out, yeah.
yeah. So I'm including that as well as like the Isle of Armor
Right, that came out in
expansion
2020, yeah.
DLC and all that. So the reason why it's at 9 for me is because it's like one of those games that put me back in like the nostalgia area of my childhood.
sure.
You know what I mean? It kind of brought me back. Like I've said numerous times, I feel like every Pokemon game is pretty much the same thing, just reskinned or whatever. But this was the first time I played it with like, I guess like a 3D aspect instead of like a top down or whatever
Yeah.
type of view. So that was pretty cool. Being able to explore the lands and find different Pokemon and stuff was always fun. And so this was a different way to experience it. Actually seeing the Pokemon
In the
wild as
right.
you're walking around and stuff like that was enjoyable. So, okay, I want to go over there, or I don't want to go over there
Right.
because that sucker is big and I couldn't fight him last time or
Right.
something like that, the fact that you had the bike and you had all of the other different aspects like the digging and all that stuff, the different things that they had, it was cool. But the main thing you play Pokemon for is for the Pokemon, the different cool Pokemon. And they had a lot of cool Pokemon, just like they've had throughout the years and whatnot. The reason it's at number 9 though is because for that reason it's literally like the same thing for another year in a row.
Mhm.
I kind of wish they had more innovation, maybe like some side quests, side jobs, maybe maybe more things to interact with in the wild besides Pokemon and
One
trees.
thing I wanted to see that I thought would have been awesome is a little bit more fleshed out combat system between the Pokemon when they actually fight.
Yeah.
Like rather than just
That
like
would've
a
been
scratch across the screen, kind of like how all the Pokemons are. Like they're just kind of standing there and they kind of like do something simplistic.
I mean, they had the videos of like, the
Yeah,
fire
it was a little
kicks and
bit
different things
more.
like that.
Yeah,
So
but
a
it
little
would
bit
have
more
been cool if it was
interactive.
a little bit more 3D battling there, like between your Pokemon. I thought would have been really neat. Like I've been waiting for that, but they just keep sticking to the old formula of like the two Pokemon on the screen looking at each other and then
So
doing
what
an
what
attack.
I wish it would be like is there's this mobile game. It's called like I think it's Pocket Monsters or something like that. But it
Dang.
literally is exactly like Pokemon. It's like
That's the
Charizard, all
Japanese
that
name.
stuff. It took everything, but they just titled it Pocket Monsters or whatever, and you can find it for iOS or whatever.
Okay.
But essentially, what you do is like when you get into a battle, you control the actual Pokemon. So like when you're doing the slashes or you're throwing the fireballs or whatever, like you're the one controlling all of that. So if you could go into a battle and then it's not like a turn-based thing, but you have like your buttons for your abilities.
So it's like
And then you're able
Pokken
to just-
essentially, right?
Yeah. So
Okay.
if it was like that, like the
that's what I
tournament,
was
the
hoping,
tournament
like a
style,
Pokken style.
that would be cool.
Of
you
course,
know?
it doesn't have to be like live action, but like more Pokken level, like excitement in the fighting. Now that we're in the 3D realm of Pokemon now,
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping for that. Like, of course, on the 2D realm, and you're looking down at like just the flat map, and you got to walk around, you can't do nothing like that. But now
Yeah.
that we're like in the 3D world, it would have been cool to kind of see a little bit more growth in their combat engine.
Right. Yeah, and then I wish there was also repercussions for losing. There's no repercussions for losing. You know, you just you end up in the hospital or whatever, and then you pop out. You know, your Pokemon are healed, and then you can just go right back in there and fight or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of wish there was like a different storyline. You know, angles that you can go on.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like not every storyline ends the same way. You know what I mean? If there's like 2 or 3 different outcomes, that would be really cool.
Exact same storyline. You go through the gyms, and you go to the tournament,
and then you become the Grand Master.
You become the Grand Master,
you know,
and then you go
that's
just
it.
collect Pokemon now.
Yeah. So if there was like, if they just added a little bit more versatility into the story and different outcomes and whatnot, I think it would be a really great game. But you know, for that reason, you know, it deserves to be spoken about. But it's only getting
That's the thing, though.
book.
Like, it's too risky for them to take those risks, right? Because it's a formula that they know makes money. Yeah, it's a tried and true formula that people buy regardless. And I had a really good time with it. Like, I had a lot of fun with Pokemon Sword and Shield. Like, it's still so much fun.
Yeah.
Just to play Pokemon like we've all played throughout the last decade.
And there's supposed to be the next expansion. It's supposed to be coming out pretty soon, I think.
Because you have the expansion pass, right? So you let us know how that goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
sure.
I mean, I came close to adding it to my list too because I just have so much fun with Pokemon.
Yeah,
but
I love Pokemon myself.
I really enjoyed it. It was like the one game on Switch that I couldn't wait to play.
Yeah.
You know, I've played other games on Switch, but I was actually even more excited than playing Breath of the Wild. I was more excited to play Pokemon Sword and Shield. I really wanted to play that.
Yeah, because for me, it had been a while since I had played any Pokemon game, so it was like stepping back into it.
Same.
You know, from a long hiatus.
Well, and I was really excited too because I thought they were making some leaps with the 3D. Oh, actually 3D running in the world. And I was like, oh, that's so cool.
Right.
Yeah,
you know?
I spent too long farming all of the Pokemon in the wells.
Yeah.
So shout out to Eric Wilson and Ant.
And Ant, yeah. For
so
sure.
we're farming all the Gigantamax Pokemon. It was a really awesome game.
Yeah, the Gigantamax was a cool addition. They tried to do something there with the combat that was a little bit different. But you know what I mean? I just was hoping for like, man, let's really be inventive here, you know? Let's really do something cool with the combat. But I get why they don't. It's a tried and true. We all still played it. We all still bought it. We all still enjoyed it.
I just wouldn't mind if they even did like a little tangent, you know, like just another game that had Pokemon name on it, but you know, was something sort of like that. But
well, Pokken was kind of like that.
Yeah.
And they did a great job with Pokken.
I'm
But
surprised
that was just a tournament thing though, wasn't it?
No, it was a fighting game, 1v1.
It was
But
like
was
Tekken.
it like a one, you know, like you're
But
walking
Pokken.
around the world and you get into fights
No,
and doing that?
that's
what
Or
I think
it's
would be
just
cool.
tournament thing.
I think it'd be cool if
It
like
was just like a Street Fighter
Okay.
or more Tekken.
Yeah.
It was
that's
more
what I
Tekken.
hope
Right.
they would have done is like you walk around the world and then your fights
Yeah.
are like Pokken.
What everyone wants
How
is the
cool would
Pokemon
that be?
MMO. That's what we really want.
Well, that's
would
what
be cool.
Temtem is, right?
Temtem.
Supposedly.
Temtem is that.
Supposedly.
I'm gonna buy that, man. I was
I
really
need to.
close. I was
Yeah, it
really
looks
close to
really
buying it
dope.
because it's on early access right now on PS5.
Oh, is it?
I was really close to buying it. Like I'm
Interesting.
definitely getting that because it looks like a very well done.
You could probably own, man. Not too many
copy.
people got PS5s, dude. You could probably rule the land.
I heard it's hard. I actually heard it's hard.
Yeah.
The combat's really hard, I guess, in Temtem. But anyways,
Yeah.
not
Okay.
around 10
It's on
yet, but
Steam
8.
too.
All right, but yeah, so 8.
All right.
8. My number 8 this year was Ghost of Tsushima. So
Oh, we got an 8?
it down at 8. Yeah.
right.
All right.
Yeah, this is not a top 5 game for me. Like,
Okay.
it's not a top 5 game, not even close. I think once you hear my top 5, you probably would. Hopefully, maybe you would agree. Maybe you wouldn't. But I think you'll see that my top 5 are all very, very high quality. So I'm not like putting some piece of junk in my top 5 to put Ghost. This is honestly where I feel it falls.
Yeah.
In my assessment of playing it. There were some things that I really liked in Ghost that I really, really enjoyed. And so, of course, it's going to make my top 10 list. You know, I played a lot of games that didn't make it. This one made it, you know, so at least made my list.
Mm-hmm.
And I did like it a little better than Watch Dogs. As much as I liked Watch Dogs, I did like it a little better than Watch Dogs, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm a huge Ubisoft fan. So what the things I really liked they did was I really enjoyed the duels. I thought they nailed the samurai duels. That was extremely well done. You felt like a samurai, man, when you were fighting those duels.
They were pretty freaking dope.
Yeah,
man.
they really recreated
the cutscenes and all that stuff.
yeah, like that was well done. Like I really enjoyed that. I would just hunt those down, man. I was talking with you like I'm looking for the next duel, man. I'm looking for the next duel, you know. Like I can't wait to fight even the tougher guy.
They were tough,
You know?
yeah. They weren't
were
just
tough.
like easy to breeze through, for sure.
I really, really enjoyed the duels a whole lot. That was my favorite part of the whole game. And then the second thing I liked about the game was just the using the environment to direct you in the open world. I think that's like, I don't know. I think we see that idea, and our first thought is like, oh, that's super simple and that's inevitable, right? But no one ever did it. No one ever used like the wind and the animals and the environment to.
Oh, it's like guides.
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
using nature in the world just to direct you and guide you. That is super innovative, shockingly enough. I mean, it seems so simple, but it's a total innovation, and they kind of nailed it. I mean, it's an early innovation. It could be a little better, but like even to the point where like you have smoke signals in the background, you're like, oh, what is that smoke? I want to run towards that. Like trying to keep you in the world and not in the map was something I really, really liked, and I thought that they nailed it with that. So those two things I think were totally awesome, are worthy of praise. My major issues with it are there is no gear hunt. I really wanted different weapons. I wanted to earn a legendary level, different tiers of weapons with like cool affixes. And yes, you can go and get like a new bow that has a cool affix on it. It's very small though. It's like it's tiny.
Like a slight legendary list.
Yeah, it's like a slight legendary list. I really wanted a more fleshed out gearing system. That's something I love. Like I'm hunting for that in my RPGs, and it did not have that. Your armors, you just find like sets. I rather find like pieces, and go out and just collect. I want to go collect armor and weapons, and Ghost did not have that. And then another one of my major issues with it was the enemies were always the same enemies, regardless of what zone you were in. They just reskin them in different colors.
Yeah.
So you just got stronger, and your enemies just kind of stayed the same, and the game just became like super trivial, super easy. Like there was never anything in that game that I ever felt scared of ever. And especially I didn't feel afraid when I was in stealth mode. Like it was just like, I don't know, that game was so flawed when it came to the combat. I felt I really let me down. And then and I agree with Stone, like I had a really hard time with the voice acting and the narrative, and especially of Jin Sakai and what they did with his character model. They didn't deliver on that front either, and they kept making it feel like, I mean, even like with like the stealth mechanics, right? Like they were like telling you how rotten you were for being so stealthily, but then at the same time but when you go into the zone, you're going to want to use stealth, right? Or they throw all these cool stealth abilities at you, but you're telling me how dishonorable I'm being.
And the game is called Ghost for Pete's sake.
Yeah, and the game is called Ghost for Pete's
What do you
sake.
expect?
Yeah, and it was a big problem, like with telling you how dishonorable you were for being this samurai ninja. But it's like, but you're telling me I have to be that, and it's like there's just
or
this
you're just
disconnect.
making it so that it's so obvious that I should just stealth right here.
Yeah,
everybody's back
exactly.
is turned. Everybody
you're
needs
making
to
it
get the
so
sniper
obvious.
back.
Like this is how I'm supposed to do this.
Yeah.
And then, there was just problems with that narrative connection, that dissonance that I talked about on the last time we talked about this game, that it really hurt. And I had such high hopes, man. I was so pumped because Japan is one of my favorite eras. Feudal Japan. We love Japan. Like we name our guilds after them. Seppuku, right? I mean, like we just adore the Japanese lore and the Japanese history. And this game I had so excited, and it just kind of fell flat in the areas that I really wanted to perform. But there were some great things about it, so it definitely makes my list.
Awesome.
At 8.
Sure. All right, guys. So for my number 8, it's don't give me too much slack, all right, guys. But it's the Super Mario 3D All-Stars collection.
Nice.
So the reason why, there's a couple reasons why it's on my list. The first reason is because for people like all of us, we played these games throughout the years, so they may not be necessarily new. But for the new generation of gamers, they may have never had the privilege of playing these games. Mm-hmm. These games still hold their value, so it's not like they're in the bargain bin for a couple bucks. So I went back, and when I played Super Mario 64, it is the definition of a platformer. And I feel that this game stands the test of time. Someone, who's 10 years old, who never played the OG Super Marios, can play Super Mario 64, and I feel that they can have a blast. Everything from the gameplay feels smooth and snappy. The music is incredible, and the graphics have a timelessness to them that I think you could really enjoy and get immersed in the world. There's also Super Mario Sunshine, which I think is a wonderful game. The graphics are incredible. And there's Galaxies, which that's one that I never played before, but it is a masterpiece. So even for fans like me, I never got to play that game. All 3 of these games you can have in your pocket on a Switch, and I think that's where games like this should be. So I commend Nintendo for packaging these together. The one gripe I have is they said it's limited only till March of next year. So
For the
that's
physical copy,
for the
right?
physical copy. So that's what made me go out and buy it on day one. I got it. Luckily, it was $49. I got it on sale.
Oh, okay, nice. You got a little deal.
I got it on a good deal on it, but it made me want out and get it because it was limited.
Me too. Like when I first thought I had it, I pre-ordered it. Right?
Yeah.
I talked about that.
Yeah.
Like, because it's like, goodness, like this for me, this was the deal of the year from Nintendo.
Yeah.
I mean, we had this discussion where it's like these are old games, so they should be worth nothing. But dude,
not worth nothing, but just like greatly reduced.
Man,
it should not be the same. It should not be the same price as like all of the other games that are brand new. You guys literally just took that information, compiled it together, and then threw it on here. Like, come on, bro. Like, you're gonna charge me $60 for this?
But in the game's defense, like I said, I think a new audience. There's people like us who play these games, but there's tons of new Nintendo fans who never had the opportunity to play these games. So for $60 to get 3 masterpieces,
like in these games, and they stand the test of time better than
Absolutely.
older games. Like, it's just a fact. Like if they just reskinned Perfect Dark, for example, and said, hey, here's our Perfect Dark 007 combo bundle that you can buy for $50, right? We would be like, oh, that's a ripoff, right? Because that game does not stand the test of time. Like it's a piece of junk.
Today's
right? Yeah,
conventions.
compared to what we play today, it's actual junk. 64 isn't that. Galaxy isn't that. Like these
still
games
feel
are
incredible.
very, very relevant. I definitely think people could launch a game. I honestly believe you can launch Mario 64. Like imagine it never existed. No one ever made that game. And indie developer decided to make it, right? And they launched this game, and it's this new indie game that someone just released. I think we would all go and go, wow, this is a great game.
But not looking the way it's looking right now, though, right?
Yeah, the exact way it is. This exact model of N64. If someone launched an indie dev studio, like made Mario 64, it wouldn't be called Mario 64, it would be called something else. But if it was that exact game, I think it would get total praise, even today. People would still really have a great time with it. It would be considered one of the indie releases of the year. I mean, we're playing pixelated, 8-bit games all the time. This is better than that as far as graphics goes. But the game feels so well polished and playable today that I think it wouldn't be a $60 game, but it'd be an indie game, like easily $20 game. I think.
Yeah, I agree completely.
It stands the test of time just better than a lot of old games do.
And my vision for the I guess the Switch service, the Nintendo service, is I hope all their heavy hitters like this are included in the online package, because they've been adding a couple games here and there. This December they added a couple more games to the the Super NES, the online package. I hope that they compete with Game Pass and the PlayStation by adding some of these renowned collections, because I feel like games like this everyone should play,
right? Because
these are the best of the best games out there, and especially for Nintendo, these are going to be the best platformers that you may ever play. And to Marcus's point, it is a little expensive to charge this for games that people already bought and played, but I feel like if they maybe increase their subscription a little bit and give everyone these games for free, that might appease some people who are like, I'm not gonna buy this game again, because they're masterpieces in my eyes. So I think everyone should play them, and everyone should have the opportunity to play them. So that's why I made my list. Although it's a release, that's why I made my list for the year.
Right.
Okay.
It did launch this year, yeah. Okay.
So my number 8 is The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners VR. So the reason I picked that one is because, as you guys would know, I'm like a big advocate or whatever of VR games. And so that was one of the the very few games that just has like a lot of content in it for VR. And then for it to have, it's just like a full fleshed out game, and there's a lot of stuff to do. There's the way that the aiming and the attacking and stuff like that goes, the walking, it's all fun. It doesn't make you nauseous or anything like that. But it's just like you feel like you're really in like a Walking Dead, movie or a scenario. Cool. You know what I mean? Because there's zombies.
Yeah, that was when you were like raving about, right? You kept talking about how awesome that was.
I had when I had first heard about it, I saw that it was on Oculus, but it was the one that's like attached to the PC. So it wasn't the Quest or whatever, but it was just that.
Right.
And so I kept it on my radar because I was watching somebody on YouTube play it. And I was like, oh, that looks really fun, you know, because you got to two-hand wield the axe. You got to, you know, position it right, you know what I mean? And, like, you know, it just feels like you're really playing it. And when it finally came to the PS4, I was like, oh, man, I got to get it. So I got it. And you know, it's tough. It's definitely not like an easy game that you can breeze through. You know what I mean? Because you got your couple of shots, you know, your weapons, they break. So you got to craft new ones and work those in. And sometimes you can get caught in like a predicament where like you're trying to load, but you just can't get it in right. And it's like, it's real because it's like, you see the zombies coming, you run out of shots, and you're like, damn, this is a 6-shot revolver. I literally got to pull the bullets out, load them in one at a time, but they're coming still. So I got to like grab you, I got to throw you
and you're
back.
using your arms like that,
Yeah,
huh?
yeah.
That's
You could just
cool.
grab them,
That's
you can
dope.
push them back, you can
neat.
push the other dudes back, you could, you know, you can try to like, you know, hit them with the gun
That's
or
really
whatever,
neat,
you
yeah.
know, to
That's
push
dope.
them, but you would be able to like put the gun back, grab both of them, smash their heads together, and throw them back or whatever to try to
Wow.
cause damage, you know. But it's like you're sitting there, you know, you fumble, you might drop the gun, and it's like, damn, I gotta go find the gun now.
You gotta like look down and figure it out. That's cool.
So
That sounds
it kind
dope.
of gives you like this feeling that you're like really like in this environment.
Yeah, I remember
and
you
whatnot.
talking a lot about the
Yeah.
experience, man. You were really jaw dropped by it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you know, there's like some of the scenarios of people you come across or whatnot, and they're not just like fixated there. So it's like if you don't have what they're looking for, or you don't come back in enough time, they're just gone. You know what I mean? You have like a certain amount of time, you know, throughout the day that you can actually explore, and then you got to hightail it back home, because if you stay out there, they're just gonna swarm,
Right.
and it's gonna be really, really difficult to do anything really. So you know that type of that sense of like urgency and whatnot, but like still like wanting to explore and look around or whatever. It just made it like a
Right.
really cool game, and it felt like a full game. You know what I mean? There's like Skyrim on the VR, but I just felt like nauseous, and
That was not
the
optimized
gameplay
well.
didn't feel
Yeah.
that great to me.
Mhm.
You know, for Skyrim to be on VR, so I feel like that doesn't really count. You know, there's a couple of the other games that are really good, but you know, moving might be a little wonky or like restricted or whatever. But this one I felt was like it was like a solid game. You know what I
That's
mean?
cool.
No matter like
Yeah, you
it
wanna
didn't
try it.
it didn't register my
Yeah.
controllers off wrong. Like, you know, where I wanted to go is where I wanted to go. You know, just like attacking properly. You know, you just had to get
Right.
the grasp on that. But it was fun. You know what I mean? It felt like you're actually doing something. When you were able to survive a horde from, you know, coming in, you felt like, whew,
I
like,
did that.
man,
right?
that was
Yeah.
like nerve wracking,
Yeah.
man. Like, you know, dropping a gun with like 4 or 5 zombies in the room with you, and the more keep coming is like, golly, like I gotta get out of here. You know what I mean?
That's cool.
So, you know, giving that feeling is really tight. So I think that was a great game, and I'm looking forward to hopefully trying Hitman 3 sometime
Nice.
next year to see how that is.
We're
And
all
then,
looking to see how that
yeah,
works, because
and
that's the full game.
No Man's Sky VR also. I want to try that one out. So
Mhm.
there's a couple of things, but I really want that PSVR 2 headset to come out so that I can do that without the wires, and then hopefully
Yeah.
get like some better graphics, and hopefully
Right.
that will entice other companies to just port like a VR you know, gameplay access, you know, on their game or whatever, just
Right.
to allow that, you know what I mean? Just allowing a VR headset to be played through that game is what I want. So I hope to see more of that. So yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
So yeah, on to number 7.
Number 7. My number 7 top 10 this year was Genshin Impact.
Nice.
And I really enjoyed my time with that game. You know, like the combat felt fluid, it felt fun, it felt exciting. I enjoyed every minute of combat that I experienced. I thought the world was really gorgeous and beautiful and well created. I loved how they stole from Breath of the Wild. Like, I love that they did that.
Yeah.
And that's another thing
Me
too,
too.
which I'll probably have to talk about Valhalla. But I loved how they stole from that game, and they did a great job with it too. Like, it wasn't like a wonky rendition of what Breath of the Wild did. Like, it felt like Breath of the Wild, and
Absolutely.
man, that was a AAA 10, right? That was a game that was claimed, as like a masterpiece. And Genshin Impact did a great job of like duplicating it, and I just was blown away by how well that they made that game similar to Breath of the Wild and how it felt. And in my sense, sometimes it was even more fun. The combat was even more fun than Breath of the Wild was.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Like it was
adding
so
that magical
fun.
ability.
Yeah,
and stuff like
adding
that
the magical
made a
ability like made a huge difference. Like I don't want to dog Breath of the Wild in any way,
No.
right?
Yeah,
but
no.
it's true. Like there are some aspects about Genshin that were more fun.
Absolutely.
The combat was just a blast, Finding the chest was like a ton of fun. I really enjoyed Genshin Impact, and it's free. I mean, to me, that's probably the best free game I've ever played in my life.
Agreed.
And we have played
That's a
quite a few
solid
play
free
game,
game.
and it's
That
when we think of free games.
that's truly a free game.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
wow. I mean,
Yeah.
and they gave you so much free stuff too. Like Stone and I know we didn't even have to feel like we spent any more money than what they kind of gave us. They were very generous.
Yeah, I didn't spend a dime on that game, but
me neither.
it
like
was fun.
we talked about this already. It did get a little snubbed in the Game Awards, but Genshin Impact, man, like go out and play that already if
Must
you haven't
play, dude.
already.
For mobile and PlayStation 4 and
PlayStation
PC.
4. Like it's a must play. You have to play that game. It's completely free, and you will have so much fun with it. I can't say enough good about it. Like I said, when I first heard about it, I was shopping for it, like on Amazon. I was gonna pay like $40. I thought I was gonna pay like $40 for this, and it's worth that,
Absolutely.
And I was willing to do that when I saw how awesome it was. When I found it was free, I just was flabbergasted and just couldn't wait to share it with the crew, you guys, because I was just blown away by that. So yeah, it's solid top 10 game. That's number 7 on my list.
Nice.
Yeah, I remember when I heard about it, and I was just like, "Damn, okay, that sounds like an interesting game or whatever." And then you had mentioned it, and I was like, "It's free."
It's free,
Like,
100% free,
Yeah.
Awesome.
The
game.
fact that such a full game
and
like
no
that
strings.
could
Yeah,
be free. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, they didn't cut like any content, so
Nope.
that's like awesome.
Yeah.
That's a good pick.
Awesome pick. So my number 7, guys, is Fall Guys.
Okay, all right. So,
So,
yours higher on the
For a
list.
little higher than Stone.
Growing up, one of my favorite shows to watch with my family was Max Extreme Challenge.
Okay.
All right, do you guys remember that show?
It doesn't sound familiar.
I don't really
It's
call
a
it- I
show
don't
that
call
takes
that one.
place in Japan, and they're going down an obstacle course, and they have to go through Fall
I know
Guys
what you're talking
styles.
about.
Like
Yeah,
American
I remember
Ninja
what
or
you're
something
talking
like
about.
that?
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. And then you win if
Yeah.
you make it to the end. So it was just a funny, awesome show to watch. So when I played Fall Guys, to me it was just Max Extreme Challenge, the video game. Now I don't think it could have released at a better time. I think that the time that it released
Yeah, it's COVID.
affects
Man.
why it's on my top 10.
Yeah.
Because this was a way to connect with your friends and family.
And
This was-
laugh and have some
laugh.
fun. The bad times, yeah.
You're generally having a fun time. This shows that games don't need the graphics, but they always need the gameplay.
Right.
So the game, you're just a little, I don't know what you are, a little egg man or woman or whatever. You're just a little avatar that has no life,
Marshmallow
but
guy.
you are the life. You
Right.
make the game fun. And it's just, to its core, it's an awesome game. To me, there's nothing wrong with the game. It's
They
a
nailed the
cheap game.
physics, man, because it's hilarious.
Yeah.
The physics are one of the funniest parts.
Absolutely. When you
Yeah.
fall, when you
Yeah,
flail
it's
around, when you
hilarious.
bump into people, it's a cluster.
The finesse of hitting like one of those whirlwinds or something like that, like one of those blockers, right? And then it projects
just
you
nicks you
forward
too,
or
right?
something.
Yeah. The game, the controls feel good, and the game was only, I said $14.99, but it was actually $20 on Steam. So I got the game for free on PlayStation Network,
Right.
and it was so fun that I bought it
You
also
want to
on
give them
Steam.
some money, right? Yeah.
So I
for
bought
sure.
it on Steam, and it was $20 well worth spent. As Marcus said before, they add season passes. They're doing, they're making the game feel fresh.
Mhm.
They're adding new things. They're making new skins for levels.
I wonder
so
if they got a Christmas theme.
I think so. There's a season 3, so I think it is winter's themed, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Run around
Um,
with some Santa hats or something. That'd be kind of cool.
So this was a wonderful game. It really set a wonderful time, and I really had a lot of fun playing it. My wife even played it with me. I played it with Godly Sovereign. I played it with Wilson.
Played it with Squid.
Danny Boy, Squid. Squid really liked it. He ponied up some money. He bought, I think the banana suit, the hot dog. He bought the
Okay.
little package.
Yeah.
It was just a cheapy little game. Throw a
Yeah.
couple bucks, have a good time. It's all it's all laughs and
the surprise of the year, man. Like,
yeah,
for sure.
it was a shock.
Yeah, it was like came out of nowhere.
Especially when they mentioned it, it was kind of like, "What's this?"
I was gonna like, it looked like a little bit like
a
joke. Like, come on, dude.
Yeah, but it's like, oh, it's free. You know what? I think I'll give it a try.
And the moment you try, you're just having a blast. Like everyone just having a ball with it. I don't know how well it's long. I think it's already suffering a little bit. Its longevity, like it's kind of falling a little bit off the map, which is what I was worried about when we first talked about the season passes and stuff.
Yeah.
But man, it just struck gold at the right exact moment in time. Yep. It gave people something fun to do, something to laugh at, and it just took you away from this, rotten world right now. Yeah. So, yeah, it's worth being on a lot of people's lists for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
So what about
so my 7 is actually Jedi Fallen Order.
Okay,
nice.
So the reason why it made 7 for me is because of mostly like how I played the game. I got the game, off of the Game Pass and the EA Play that they had introduced. And then, playing it on an Xbox One, not like a One X or
a Pro,
a One S or anything like that. You know what I mean? My experience with it was kind of choppy. You know what I mean? It felt like the graphics weren't there at all. It felt like there was a lot of things that could have been done better as far as like how it looked and stuff like that. But as far as like the gameplay, the combat, twirling the lightsabers, stuff like that, I thought it was an awesome game. I had fun definitely traversing, wall running. The only thing I wish that would have been different was that I didn't have to go to like a specific spot on the map that had that same scenario in order for me to trigger my mental, I guess my cognitive ability or whatever to then go, hey, I can wall run. You know what I mean? Like, dude, I passed like 4 walls that I could have ran.
Yeah, that was annoying when that happened.
So
you didn't really know that would happen. You're kind of confused what's going on.
Right, because it's like, okay, damn, I can't run on walls or anything like that, or like I'm stuck here, so I have to go around. And then it's like, oh, I go to this specific spot and I touch this thing, and then now I know how to wall run. So that was kind of annoying how they like forced like introductions to them, because it seems like you would just come across that and then maybe go to that past scenario and then remember how to wall run, not like it's over in this area on this side of the map.
I agree.
Go there and
I was like totally lost
just
too.
because of also like
memory triggers were really weird.
Yeah, and then you don't have like, you have like a goal, but the idea of the game is that you can get there through like different pathways and stuff like that. But if you don't pick the right proper pathway, it's gonna be real difficult for you, because you're gonna probably be doing a lot of going back and retracing your steps and stuff like that. But if they had guided you to that area, you know what I mean? Boom, immediately showed it to you. You have it, and then now you have open terrain access. And granted, you have to go to different planets to learn other abilities to then come back and then traverse those areas. That's all fine and dandy, but don't show me the stuff that's already here, but I have to go to a specific spot just to be able to do all those things,
Just trigger it, man.
Right? Yeah. Just give it to me, and then let me experience it all.
It was also a very good looking game. Like, it looked really good. The art direction and the graphics and stuff. I know you're playing on a one.
Yeah,
but it looked
I see
really
where they were
good,
going.
Right? Like, they were trying to do like,
I mean,
Uncharted 3 level, kind of like they were trying to do that.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. The dude, I forgot his name. The main character, Cal.
Cal.
He looked exactly like the person who plays him. So that was cool, you know what I mean? Because it looked just like him. And and all the other characters and stuff, they look like cool characters. But like I said, my graphics were definitely not detailed. There were some moments where I was like, "Oh, this looks kind of good." Like, it looks like they added a little bit extra to this cutscene or to like a certain part of a scene in game. While playing it, Cal looks a little bit better than normal, but then he begins to like kind of like phase and look all like distorted or whatever, or not in focus or whatnot.
Yeah, but I mean, I had a little bit different experience because I played it on the Pro,
right?
And I do remember, man, like the moment I was like, man, this is really cool. Like, this feels really good. This is really, really good.
You played it on the PS4 Pro?
I played it on the Pro. You played it on the one. So I mean, like I said, I know I'm telling you the graphics were good, but I know it might have been different for you on your one.
Right, yeah. That's why it goes I mean, it's a little higher. It's actually higher than yours.
Yeah.
But, it was because I had a good experience with it. You
Yeah.
know, I didn't pay anything for the game because it was on Game Pass, so that
Right.
also helps.
Right.
You know what I mean? But
sure.
I definitely thought that the combat, it took a little bit getting used to. It was slightly wonky in some ways, but you just had to kind of like figure it out and finesse it. You know what I mean? But once you start getting powers and abilities, then the combat begins to get a little bit different.
Yeah.
And it starts to get fun. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? When you can just do a force push, or you can grab somebody, or you can, throw your sabers. You know what I mean? That type of stuff was where you really started
Definitely.
feeling like a
Mhm.
Jedi and things like that. And they had like some platforming aspects in there that were a little tricky, man. Like
puzzles, too.
going down the slides and then
Mhm.
having to like leap from a slide to another slide that has turns
Mhm.
and stuff like that. Like there was sometimes they were getting frustrating, man. Where just trying to like get from one slide to the next
Trying to
slide without
remember-
falling off the edge.
and like remembering the sequence too.
Yeah,
right?
it's just like it was just rough, but
Mhm.
I felt like it was a good game. Like it was a solid
Yeah.
game, and that's why it got number 7
Yeah.
on my list.
It was a cool game.
Yeah, so I mean, if you guys have a chance, you got Game Pass, like download it. It's the full game, so it's free 99. So
Yeah.
why not? You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so on to the last game of
This
this
segment.
segment is number 6.
So my number 6 game of the year, or top 10 of the year, is Risk of Rain 2.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah, an indie game. I had so much fun with this game, man. Like, I still think about firing it up and playing it even some more, even right now. Like, it was so much fun. Like, I know many of you probably never played the original Risk of Rain, but it was a 2D side scroller, right? And so you had your little dude, and it's a roguelike. So you're collecting power-ups and you're collecting loot, and you're applying these pieces of loot to your guy, and they might be a missile pack, you might get like a more powerful weapon, or you might move faster or jump higher, or whatever power-ups you're getting. Crit more, things like that, bleed an enemy, all different sorts of power-ups you can get. And it's all based on like a timer. And so you have like a time limit before the difficulty ups. And so you're trying to find that balance between trying to go and collect loot, get enough upgrades, but not to go too long before you move on to the next level, because the difficulty will raise and it makes it harder and harder to complete the game. So that's what's kind of unique about this game. But what's so much fun about it, man, is just the power-ups. And what was cool about this one too, compared to the first one, was I had a lot easier time unlocking all the characters. And every character has like a super unique and different way of playing the game. And like, it was just so much fun, like unlocking a character and grabbing him and jumping into the world and seeing how far I can get, and like sometimes you get the dopest combination of abilities, man. And you're just like slaying waves of enemies, and the enemies become like pretty heavy. You just have waves of them. You're just like slaying them all, man. It's super fun, super exciting. Like, it's fully 3D. This one's fully 3D versus the first one.
Nice.
I had just such a blast playing this game. It was so much fun slaying enemies, getting super OP and powerful with all your power-ups, and you can really keep going forever. Just keep collecting power-ups. You can become like retarded strong. Like, it was just a ton of fun. I had a blast with it. I still have it in my collection to this very day. I will play it some more, I'm sure. But yeah, it's really fun. I recommend it.
Yeah, so after you told me about this game, I went back, and they offered it free sometime this year on the Xbox. So I'm like kicking myself like, dang, I should have added it to. I think it was on
dude.
Xbox Live. It was like one of the monthly
Really?
free games. But I went back and I watched this, and this looks like one of those games that you can just fire up anytime. Like, you could take a break and come back to it, and it's just, because it's like a roguelike style game. These are those ones that are timeless, and I really like the 3D aspect. From 1 to 2, they really this is like, I guess, what you guys were hoping Pokemon did.
Yeah, huge
you know what I
leap,
mean?
right? Yeah.
The 1 to 2, number 1 looks pretty good, but number 2, like, that definitely looked up my alley.
Yeah, I think
So-
you would really like it. And you're exactly right, man. Like, it's a game, like, I'm just going to do a run really quick. I'm going to hop in, I'm going to do a run really quick, And, I'm going to try this character. I haven't tried this character yet, and I'm going to try to see how far I can get with this guy. And it can become really methodical, because there can be some hairy situations, where, like, the enemies are piling up, and you got to run away and try to kite them and try to get them together and see how well you can, use your powers and abilities in a way to really
It looks fun.
tackle the challenge of killing all these guys. So man, I really recommend it if you guys are into that kind of roguelike stuff. I really love roguelikes. They're one of my favorite genres of games. And so Risk of Rain was one of the best ones this year.
Nice.
Wasn't the best, but it was one of the best ones this year.
Nice. So we're on number 6, right?
Yeah.
Sorry. So my number 6, guys. I know I talked about this game in the past. Maybe a little bit more than I should have, but I really love this game. And this is World of Warcraft: The Shadowlands expansion.
I know
right?
it was World of Warcraft.
So the reasons why I like the Shadowlands expansion and why I think it was Blizzard's stepping back in the right direction is for a couple reasons.
Okay.
Right? Number 1 is it's alt friendly. Unlike BFA, you were hindered so much if you wanted to play multiple characters because it was
Sorry, what's BFA?
Battle for
Battle for
Azeroth.
Azeroth.
Sorry. It was
one
a
of the
previous.
expansions,
It was a
previous
previous
expansion.
expansion.
Alright.
Previous expansion, you had items that you had to accumulate currency for. So, for example, you had your legendary cape and you had your Heart of Azeroth. So these are 2 items that it rewarded you for playing over time. So if you started a new guy, you were really behind on that guy, and a lot of your power level comes directly from those 2 items. So
Okay.
it made
Right.
playing multiple characters a huge time investment.
That's interesting. I only stuck to 1, so I wouldn't know that. But yeah, okay.
So they removed that completely. There's none of that junk in
Okay.
this new game. Also, what they did was they made the storyline very, very linear. But once you play the storyline once, when you start a new character and you go to the new zones, it gives you an option. Do you want to continue the storyline, or do you want to unlock all the zones? Do you want to unlock all the world quests and play as you please? So I love that because sometimes going through the same motions multiple times,
Kind of gets boring.
it can turn you off from wanting to play. But for you to unlock all the zones, unlock all the world quests, right when you get to this new place, it really lets you do what you want to do. And that freedom, in MMOs, it's a world, so you want to do things as you want to do it. So it added that. It made playing alts fun again.
Yeah, that was kind of one of the bummers about like Destiny 1 was that when you wanted to have 3 different characters, you had to play through their specific storyline the whole way before you were able to unlock everything and then just be able to play like regularly with people. So that's what sucks. So that's pretty cool that they have that open.
The next reason why I like Shadowlands so much is they finally added honor vendors back. So in the past World of Warcraft, when you play PvP, you get honor, a currency,
Okay.
right? And then or conquest points. You get these points and you can buy gear.
Okay.
Now in the last expansion, they removed that. It was all RNG. So you play matches. Will you get an item? Who knows?
Okay.
And then every week
Like
when
Destiny.
you play a certain amount,
Yeah.
you'll unlock an award at the next week. So you can get a chest with a random item. It could be an item you already have. It can be whatever. So you play for a week and you get a good item. And then every match, it's random if you're going to get something or not.
Right.
So they took all that junk away and they gave you honor again. So when you play, you're rewarded for what you play. And you use that honor, you buy items. And the cool thing about these items is they level up with you over the expansion. So when you buy a weapon,
gear.
when you buy a staff or an axe, as the expansion progresses every week, you can use honor to make it stronger, make it stronger. As you level up your covenant, which is like another thing, you can make the weapon stronger. So it's not like you're just buying a gear and you throw it away and get a new one. You're actually building up your items over time. So it makes you feel like you're progressing in the game. One of the things I hate is when you just get legendaries. It takes the legendary aspect away when you get one every 5 minutes. But this is you're building up and you're making it. So when you have a high, strong item, you made it that, we may have the same axe, but mine is rank 7 and yours is rank 2. So it actually makes the items a little more special.
Especially to you because you put the work in, right?
Absolutely. So that's the second reason why I like it. The third reason why I like it is because in Battle for Azeroth, they added this mechanic where every week, if you do mythic dungeons, if you do PvP, you get a chest every week that gives you a random item. How it is now is you unlock multiple options. So if you do PvP, if you do raiding, and you do mythic dungeons, at the end of the week, you're going to have 3 different chests. And the more you do of one, it'll give you multiple chances at a different item. So it sucks if you play every week and you keep getting a trinket. You keep getting a trinket. Well, trinkets are the best. If you keep getting a cloak, for example. But now, the more you do of different aspects, you still get 1 item per chest, but you can get multiple items to choose from. So they made it a lot less RNG, and they reward you for doing multiple things. Because let's say you only wanted to do PvP, you would only get 1 chest. Whereas now, if you dabble in a mythic dungeon, if you dabble in a raid, and then you do PvP, you'll get 3 chests, and you'll get multiple per. So it actually rewards you.
They didn't encourage you to do other things.
Correct.
Right. They encourage you to bottleneck yourself into one thing. Yeah.
So they actually encourage you for playing the game. So I love when they make people maybe step out of their comfort zone because they give you incentive. So for these reasons, I didn't cover the Covenant and things because you guys can. I'll let you experience that for yourself. It's a good feature. Torghast was a great feature. They added legendaries back. So they
a whole slew of reasons.
They took 2 steps back with Battle for Azeroth, the last expansion, and then now they're progressing back. So for those reasons, I think Shadowlands is a good expansion.
Yeah, I commend Blizzard, man. They're constantly trying to innovate, and they're tinkering around all the time. Like every new expansion, they're adding new interesting things. Like I love the corruption that they did in Battle for Azeroth, but I mean that's just an idea, and they decided to try it. And some ideas work, and some ideas don't. And I commend them for recognizing what works and recognizing what doesn't. And they do. Yeah, they do. They move their games in the direction that they think is best. And so, I do want to play Shadowlands. I'm sure at some point in time next year I'm going to play it, because I wanted to play Torghast a lot. I'm looking forward to playing that. I had fun with Battle for Azeroth. The time I did play it, I had a lot of fun. I enjoyed my time with it. So yeah, good choice.
Yeah. So my number 6 is actually Genshin Impact.
Okay.
Nice.
So the reason why it was number 6 for me is just because I thought it was the fact that it was a great looking game that had taken some aspects, from Breath of the Wild and all that. Had cool little abilities and the way that they were kind of playing with like elements and stuff, with making them specific characters and having a bunch of different characters to work with. But also the fact that it was free. So that's reason why it gets higher up on my list than all the others, is because it was a free game that was just as enjoyable as all the other games that I've played this year. Like that game had voice acting out the wazoo. It had so many cutscenes. I was just, I wanted to just, get past them just because I wanted to keep playing. But the fact that they took their time and had people voice act all of these characters, you know what I mean? I don't think there was one character that just had, wording or writing above its head and never said a thing. You know what I mean? The fact that map is huge, that there's so many different abilities, there's all these different characters that you can use and that you can like improve on and all that stuff. Like
it's a AAA game, man.
Yeah, it's so many different ways to play the game. Like, you don't just have like these set amount of characters. Like you can come across like 4 or 5 characters with like the same elements. So you could switch it up. You can have your team however you want it. You could probably have all like strictly spellbook users with every element if you can search out there for them. I mean, you probably have to do like your little RNG rolls with the chests and whatnot, and spend a couple of ducats there, but the option is there, and the fact that you don't have to put a dime into it and still have fun with it, you know what I mean? Like I don't need the powerful character that's from there because I can actually get him in the game some way, somehow. I can get him in the game just by using the in-game currency and then doing that RNG roll instead of just paying actual $20 and then trying to fish for him or whatever with that lunchbox special. But I just thought that the graphics, the gameplay, the combat, the fact that it's free, like all of those things bottled and wrapped up into one package.
Almost top 5 worthy, huh?
Almost what?
I said almost top 5 worthy. Yeah.
Yeah, almost top 5
really
worthy,
good.
because it was a great game.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that they keep on adding stuff to the world, keep on expanding it, adding new characters with new abilities, different things like that. I know that the little loot boxes that they had were kind of like limited to a certain number of characters that they have, but if you can potentially encounter like all of those characters and maybe eventually get them, that would be cool too.
Yeah.
you know, and upgrading the characters and stuff like that. I wasn't able to do too much of that because it's like a lot of grinding that you got to do. But I just thought it was a fantastic game, and
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to anything else that developer decides to drop.
Absolutely.
Because if they follow this same motto where they produce like a AAA type of game for free 99 because they just want you to play it and you can buy stuff or not, then I want to give them like all my support, because if they're able to do that and then other people see that they're
moving
doing
the industry
that, they
forward,
can
man.
possibly change
Yeah.
the way that people look at the games. You know what I mean? Like you don't have as much gripes about a game if it
When
was
it's
free.
Right.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? You've taken it for face value. It was a free game. So you could choose to put a couple more hours into this game, or you could choose to leave it alone. It's your choice because it was free. You didn't pay for it. You didn't drop $20. You didn't drop $5. You didn't drop $1. You know what I mean, on the game. So it's just like, enjoy it for what it is. You know what I mean? If it had a couple of bugs or something like that, you know, it'd be like, oh, it is what it is. You know what I mean? It's free. But the fact that game had like no issues
perfect, yeah.
whatsoever on it, it's just crazy. There's games, you know, out, you know, that just came out that are getting shit on because there's so many bugs and issues in
You're
the
paying
game.
full price for those games.
Yeah, and you're paying full price for those things. And this one you didn't pay a dime for. And there's not one frame drop. There's not one glitched out face or item or anything like that. You know what I mean? There's like no issues in the game.
Yeah. It was
So,
cool, man.
Yeah, so that's
Awesome
why that one felt noteworthy enough to be
sure.
my number 6,
For
as
sure.
opposed to like, you know, 7 or 8 or
We were
whatever,
close. I had
just
mine
because-
at 7.
Yeah,
We
just
felt pretty
because-
similar about it.
Right. Just because, you know, it was just like, you know, I probably played a couple less games than you to be able to put on my list. But that one, I felt it deserved like a
pretty
proper
high spot,
spot.
yeah.
It didn't get number 5, but it was borderline there.
For
And
sure.
It was a
for
great
reason.
game, man.
It's
Really
on my
neat.
list too, guys.
So that was 10 through 6. We are going to continue this discussion and give you 5 through 1, but you're going to have to stick around till next week. But until then, thank you for listening. If you're on YouTube, thank you for watching. Comment below on some of the games that you thought, you know, might have been in a higher position or a lower position than what we chose. Maybe hold off on the ones that, you know, you think that
we
should have been
missed,
added
yeah.
because they might be later on the next episode. But yeah, until then, check out the comment that we dropped below. So it'll be a question. So if you answer that question, then we're gonna pick one of the responses from that question. Then we're gonna mention them on the first episode of the new year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So until next time, we'll catch you later. Deuces.
Peace. Don't forget to subscribe.
I love you, me.